Hi everybody, welcome back to the freaking Jeep Garage. In this episode, for whatever reason, I cannot find the intro, and it's a little older video. It's from a little while ago, but I need to use up the footage, and there's been a couple of people that have been asking about doing alternators on these Ecodiesels, so I figured I'd put one out. This video it's a little bit dark because when I recorded it, it was outside and kind of in the cool season yet. So the lighting ain't real good, but it is pretty simple repair. And this is the intro. So let's cut over to the video and get to it. As you can see, I still have the old alternator. I just took it to a local business that does rebuilding and repairing of alternators, starters, electric motors, that kind of stuff. The new ones are like, at this time, $650 from your local parts store. They fixed it for me for $50. Big difference. Got first bolt I'm starting with is the one we take out in the, it would be the back bottom, which happens to be a stud. And I'm sorry if I'm in the way, it's hard to get both of us in here. That stud is actually a star head or inverted Torx. I don't actually have an inverted Torx handy right now, so I'm just using a 5mm on my 1/4-inch drive ratchet. It works. It's not in there that tight, and it fits. Well, there you go. Maybe this is a little better angle. Now you can kind of see what I'm doing here. I have just the stud in there. With having just a stud in there, it's kind of sort of lined up where it needs to be, and it's not flopping around too bad. Now I can put the positive cable on. And plug the alternator in. And I can roll it back up in there. I can start putting the rest of the screws in. Remember not to over torque the battery stud there, and yes, I have the battery disconnected. Now on that bottom stud goes a bracket here that holds the transmission oil cooler lines. Those are on behind the nut. That's where this 13 on a deep socket fits in. Maybe. Before we get too far here, I'm going to get the other bolt started, because there is an alignment peg on those two that have to be lined up. That's the bottom one. That's, I think, the one that's got the alignment peg on it. Then the last one is this top front. That one's got a stud on it because that's where the negative cable, which is right here, attaches to the motor, to the engine. Cover back on. The electrical connection, positive. Now I just got to tighten up the nut on that package. Make sure the front here is tight. Good. Then there's this wire here. It goes on there. With another nut. That's the ground cable. And make sure that one's pretty snug because that's the main ground or negative cable for the whole engine. Won't start if that's loose. Next will be putting the belt on. There we are. Belt is on. Double check, make sure it's on all the pulleys correct. The next bit here is going to be this cover. I didn't mark which way it was, up or down. I think it goes in there like this. Or like this. Maybe it's like this. I think it goes like this, but we'll stick that up from the bottom. I know you can't see. I stuck it up in there from the bottom, rotated it until it fit. It only fits one way. And then we've got all these little 10mm bolts that have to get shoved in there. This is actually what I used. 10mm socket on a like a 4-inch or 3-inch, 1/4-inch drive extension. But you guys gotta move because I gotta get in there. I'll put these all in hand tight for now, or finger tight, or snugged up, however you want to call it, so that I can move it around yet and be able to put the other screws in. There's 5 of these bolts, so I can't really show you where they are because the camera doesn't fit in there. Heck, my hands barely fit in here. Like a lot of auto repair work, you have to do it blindly by feel. Right now I'm trying to put the bolt in right above the power steering pump. Doing the hot side, the bolt underneath the hot side pipe, or under the tensioner, below the tensioner. And then the other one, I have to reach from the bottom because it's down by the crank pulley. Now I can go through and tighten these all up. There we go, tightened up, ready to go. Okay, I went through and I tightened up the 4 bolts. There are 5 bolts that hold that all in there. Next will be the wiring harness. Has to get folded back down in here. This harness here It's actually the PCM harness. Big plug down below. And then we can put the engine harness back in. It's the top, this is the bottom. There we go. Oop. Didn't mean to kick you guys there. That holds in there. Using just a nut driver handle, a short extension. I don't have a wobble handy, so I'm using a universal flex joint and 8mm. All right, the next thing we're going to do is get this expansion tank drop back into place here. There's a foot on the bottom that sits on a bolt that's right next to the intercooler line. Corners drive ratchet with a 10. Okay, we've got that in place. Two little push clips here. One there, one above the headlight over here. Missing a couple of those. There we go. Next is this boost pipe here. This is a nut driver here with a 7mm, just like that. It's done. All I gotta do is put the closeout panel in down below, which is 5 10mm bolts. Okay, as you can see, I got the hood closed. We're going to wrap this video up. Repair wise, it's pretty simple. You can do it in the driveway with basic hand tools. Now that you guys have an idea, realistically I can't see it taking more than a half an hour to do. I didn't have to pop any fluids open. I just had to take some hoses, some boost hoses out of the way to make room. Move the coolant expansion tank over. You saw where that was. Just to get it out of the way. I never disconnected it. I never drained it. It's not a super tight fit, but basic hand tools, you'll get it done. And thanks for watching. And I'll see you in the next one. Remember to build it bigger, better, faster. Just build it. See you in the next one. Bye.